Hello students, now we're on page 2 in the blue packet and we're going to go over another distance problem, and this time it's with cars. Okay, so this one says two cars are 300 miles apart. They leave at the same time and travel towards each other. Both cars travel 50 mph. The mph stands for miles per hour. Model the situation on the number line. Draw the cars where they start and how far apart are they. So I'm terrible at drawing, but I'm going to go ahead and try and draw this car. Okay, there's one car, and the other one is over here. And I'm sure you can draw 10 times better than me, but here they are, and they're going to travel towards each other this way. And how far apart are they? One's at 0, one's at 300, so I write 300 miles. Okay. Now, after it says, draw the cars where they are after one. Oh, so the total distance right now is 0. Okay. So now we're going to draw the cars where they are after 1 hour. So if they're both traveling 50 miles per hour, the first car after 1 hour has gone 50 miles. And again, know that I just cannot draw. There's the other car right there. Okay, it's gone 50 miles, and then this car has also, because he's gone that far, gone 50 miles because he's going 50 miles per hour. And yes, you can make fun of my drawing because I know I suck at it. So 50 miles. So he's gone 50 miles and he's gone 50 miles. So how far apart are they? Don't say 250 miles just because that's on the number line, because remember, this driver here is not at 0 anymore. So we have to go 250 minus 50. So they are now 200 miles apart. So the total distance that they've traveled is 100 miles. And that's after the first hour. Okay? All right. After 2 hours, where are the cars? So I'm going to draw my car again. And this car has gone another 50 miles, so they're a little bit closer here. Okay, so how far apart are they? Now we take 200 minus 100. They are 100 miles apart now. Okay, the total distance now that they've traveled, this one's traveled 100, this one's traveled 100. So the total distance is they've traveled 200 miles. Okay, make sure you put your units in there, not just 200. I need to make sure you put miles, okay? All right, now after 3 hours, draw the two cars after 3 hours. So after 3 hours, guess what? They're both right here. And I'm just going to draw the other one. So they're almost on top of each other, okay? So how far apart are they? They're together. Okay, and they've traveled a total distance of 300 miles. Okay. So here, I think it's very good here. Here we are. How far apart are they? They are together, and the total distance they've traveled is to 300 miles. Next, the second section still has to do with that same problem. Okay. And how much time will the cars pass each other? And the answer to that is 3 hours. Okay, now we need to create an equation to solve for the number of hours t. So they have the distance 1 plus distance 2 equals rate times time plus rate times time. Or distance 1 is distance car number 1 traveled. D2 is distance the car number 2 traveled. The R1 is the rate how fast car number 1 is traveling. R2 is the rate of how fast car number 2 is traveling. And T equals the time it took for the cars to reach each other. So we're going to create an equation for D1 plus D2. So the distance together that they're both traveling is 300. So I'm going to put 300 miles equals the rate of car number 1 was 50 times our time. We don't know how much time it's going to take, plus the rate of car number 2. He is also going at 50 miles per hour. And again, we don't know how much time he's taken. So that's T. So that's what we're going to do is solve for T, the time it took to for cars to reach each other. Okay. So once we do that, we just go to our problem or our equation solving skills. 50T plus 50T is 100T equals 300. Then to solve for T, you have to divide by 100 and divide by 100. I don't know if you could see that really well. So 300 divided by 100 is 3 equals T. And we want to make sure we remember our units, so the time equals 3 hours. And I know some of you are thinking, Miss Rupert, I can do that in my head. Why did we have to learn all this equation stuff when I could do all that in my head? Well, the reason is because we need to learn higher processing skills, and we're going to get harder problems where you can't do it all in your head. What if car number 1 is traveling at 63 miles an hour and car number 2 is going 81 miles per hour? Then it becomes a lot more difficult, and this is why we need these steps. So make sure you're writing this stuff down and writing this formula down so that you can solve those problems. The types of problems that get more difficult, because they definitely will get more difficult. The last one, how far had each car traveled at that time? And we know that car A had traveled 150 miles and car B had traveled at 150 miles. Okay, now I would like you to go on to the next page and see if you can do number 3, or on page 3, do that whole problem on your own. Now these cars are going to be traveling at different times, so it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I know you can do it because you rock, students.